I was a bit hesitant in picking up Pokkén Tournament since I am not a huge fan of the fighting games genre, and it's not your typical Pokemon game. A few months ago, I saw this game on sale on Amazon for $44.88 USD, and since I do not often see this game on sale, I figured it was as good a time as any to pick it up. So now that I have gotten to invest some time into it, it's time to answer the question, what's it worth? Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What's It Worth, where I review a game, show a little gameplay, and give you an idea of what a game is worth. If you like the What's It Worth review content, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Please note, I understand a game is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. Obviously, anyone is able to have their own opinion on what they like and dislike and have the freedom to buy and pay whatever they feel is reasonable. This is just my opinion based on the content within the game, the age of the game, how long it is, replayability, and if there is a multiplayer available, how good that multiplayer is. I have spent many years buying and playing games and have a general idea of what I should be paying. This is simply to give you an idea or baseline of what a game is worth. And if money is no object, this is still a general review, so there is still something here for you. Also, before I get too far into the video, I want to mention that I have added a frequently asked questions at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now let's get started. Pokkén Tournament originally released as an arcade game in Japan in July of 2015. It then came to the Wii U in March of 2016, and then was ported to the Switch in September of 2017 as Pokkén Tournament DX. Now, if you have watched any of my reviews of other Wii U to Switch ports, you will know that I unfortunately did not have a Wii U, so I will not be able to give much in regards to comparison between the Wii U version and the Switch version, so I do apologize for that. Pokkén Tournament doesn't have much in the way of a story. When you start the game, you will be able to create a trainer, and at first you will notice that you'll be limited on character customization, but you will be able to unlock various hairstyles, clothes, accessories, etc. by either playing the game and unlocking them, or by using funds that you obtain from battles to purchase these customizations. After that, you will select a Pokemon. I selected Charizard because, let's face it, Charizard is awesome! And then you will meet up with an advisor/guide named Naya, who will walk you through the basics of the game and tell you about the Farum region where the game will be taking place. Then you will start battling through 4 leagues to become champion, but before you can become champion, you will encounter Shadow Mewtwo, who has been infused with the Shadow Synergy Stone and is draining the Gaia power from the Farum region. I don't want to ruin anything since the story, or if you can call it that, the short story / single player. So I will just say that basically you need to defeat Shadow Mewtwo, save the Farum region, and then go on to become champion. The single player took me approximately 7.5 hours to complete, and just to add something here, after you roll the credits, there is another league, the Iron League, and that took me about 2 hours, but that is technically post-game content, but I figured I would mention it. The game looks and plays beautifully in both docked and undocked, and I did not notice any slowdown either way. The gameplay is fun for the most part and smooth, and has some interesting mechanics. There are 21 Pokemon fighters that are unlocked from the start of the game. A quick note here, the game does have 2 fighters and 4 support Pokemon, along with some cosmetics locked behind a paywall of $15 USD, which is a bit frustrating and seems like a cash grab. I do not factor this into my review, but I did want to mention it. Each Pokemon has their own unique set of attacks. There are also support Pokemon that can be selected for most matches that can help out in the midst of a fight. There is also a Synergy Burst, which will supercharge your Pokemon and give them an additional powerful attack. These are nice additions and bring some more strategy into battles. Although, early in the game I didn't really pay much attention to support Pokemon, But as I progressed further into the game, I found myself relying on support Pokemon more and more. Pokkén Tournament also uses 2 phases during battles. Field phase, which is a 3-dimensional phase where there is more freedom and movement during fights, and then there is duel phase, which is more of a 2-dimensional plane that you will be fighting on, kind of like a Mortal Kombat game. I did find these mechanics interesting and did notice that I was incorporating these more into my strategies during battles. In regards to the single player portion of this game, it can become tedious at times, since you have to go through various fighters to get to a high enough rank in the leagues to be able to go to the next step, which is a tournament, before being able to battle the league champion. I found that as I progressed through the league and even in the tournaments, I found that I would be fighting the same Pokemon over and over, and it would just feel like every fight was blending together. There are daily challenges and the Shadow Mewtwo element to try to break up some of the tedious single player, but it doesn't necessarily help all that much. There is not much here in the way of replayability. Players can return to grind levels for all 21 Pokemon or to unlock all of the cosmetic items as well as titles for their trainer. This game does allow players to play 2 players on 1 Switch, wireless battles between 2 Switches, and online play. I unfortunately was not able to test the wireless battles or more than 1 player on the Switch, but I did get to play online play. I am pleased to say that the multiplayer is alive and well. I matched several times in just a few seconds and even won some of my matches. I actually quite enjoyed playing online. There is a ranked playlist for those who want to try and be ranked, and there's a friendly playlist for casual battles, which is where I spent most of my time. So what's it worth? Well, there is some fun to be had with this game. I enjoyed the multiplayer for a few rounds at a time and had some fun with some of the more intense battles in the single player. However, the single player felt more like a tedious grind and was so limited in story elements that I really didn't feel like the single player was worth the 7.5 hours that I invested into it. I leveled my Charizard to around level 89 and never really felt I was gaining much by leveling my Pokemon. With that said, this game is definitely worth right around the $20 mark. This game launched for the Switch in 2017, and I just feel that even though the game does have some great fighting elements, and it does do some things right, but there's just not as much here as I'd like to see. There is a lot more to be had with other games that give more bang for your buck. As always, I hope this helps, and if you do pick up this game, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Now, I will go over some frequently asked questions. I decided to put an FAQ or frequently asked questions portion to my video since I have noticed a trend in the comments section, and even though I love answering your questions and love feedback in the comments, and not to mention it helps my channel greatly when I receive comments, I figured I could save some of your time by answering the questions I often get. So this will be like a test run. So the first question I get a lot is, can it be played offline for Switch games? Yes, I turned on airplane mode and played without internet connection, and the daily challenges, single player, and the leagues can be played offline. The other question I get a lot is the online play still alive? Yes, I was able to match with various players in just a few seconds. And lastly, I get, how much space does it take up? If you download the game, according to the Nintendo site, the game needs about 4 gigabytes of space. I personally have a physical copy, and the game is showing that I used 711 megabytes for this game. If you have made it this far, please be sure to subscribe and drop a like and comment. It really helps. Thank you so much. Later.